Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Men do not fall in love with your appearance, your outfit, or even your smile. They fall in love with the way you speak to them. And here is the twist that most people never figure out. Most women talk in a way that makes a man admire them from a distance. But a woman who truly knows her worth talks in a way that makes a man feel like he needs her in his life. Think about that for a second. When you meet a guy you genuinely like, your first instinct is probably to over-explain everything, to fill every quiet moment, or to work hard at keeping him entertained and engaged. But a woman who truly knows her value does the complete opposite. She is calm, she is playful, she gives the conversation room to breathe. Her words are not rushed or anxious. She does not force a connection to happen, she lets it grow on its own. That is exactly what makes her impossible to forget, and she never loses sight of her standards. She can be warm and kind, but she is never afraid to say no. She knows what she brings to the table, and that quiet confidence shows up in every word she speaks. It is not arrogance, it is self-respect, and it changes everything. If this is already speaking to something inside you, stay right here, because what comes next is going to give you the exact habits and words that turn simple conversations into deep emotional bonds that actually last. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever said all the right things to a man and still felt like he was not truly hearing you? You were not wrong, you were not imagining it. You were simply not speaking in a way that reached him where it counts. And today, that is about to change in a big way. This might honestly be the moment that shifts how you connect with men forever. Not by pretending to be someone else, not by following a script, but by unlocking the version of you that already has this power inside. If you are tired of always being the one to reach out first, if you feel like you are constantly explaining yourself, or if you have ever wondered why he pulls away even when you are giving him your absolute best, then you are exactly where you need to be right now. Because women who know their worth do not chase, they attract, and they do it with their words, their energy, and the way they simply show up. In the next few minutes, we are going to walk through the kind of communication that builds real attraction, creates emotional safety between two people, and sparks a connection that goes deeper than the surface. This is not about games or tricks or performing a version of yourself that is not real. This is about speaking from a place of calm inner strength, a kind of quiet influence that naturally makes the right man lean in closer and pay attention in a completely different way. And yes, when you learn to speak like a woman who knows her value, the right man will love you for it. Whether you are just beginning to date, stepping into something new, or trying to shift the energy in a relationship you already have, this is your guide to speaking in a way that invites real admiration, genuine trust, and lasting emotional closeness. So what actually makes a woman truly high value? This is one of the most misunderstood ideas in the world of relationships. A woman of real worth is not defined by how she looks on a good day, how popular she is, or how many things she has accomplished. It runs so much deeper than any of that. It is about her energy, her inner mindset, and the undeniable way she moves through the world. A woman who knows her value understands who she is, not because someone gave her that label, but because she built that foundation herself from the inside out. Her sense of worth does not rise and fall based on who texts her back, who likes her photos, or whether a man chooses her today. She has already chosen herself, and that alone is magnetic. She is not afraid to hold boundaries, not because she is cold or hard to be with, but because she genuinely respects her time, her feelings, and her energy. She does not over-explain. She does not over-apologize. She does not stretch herself thin trying to keep everyone comfortable. She gives from a place of genuine desire, not from fear of losing someone if she does not. She does not chase validation from the outside world. She reflects it. Her presence communicates her standards before a single word is spoken. She listens with real intention, speaks with calm clarity, and never makes herself smaller just to make someone else feel bigger. She holds her own without needing to dominate anyone. She leads with warmth without ever giving up her inner strength. Here is something that people forget about women like this. A woman who truly knows her value does not need to stay endlessly busy just to feel important. She values joy, she values peace, she values playfulness. She is not stuck in a constant cycle of proving herself to anyone. She simply lives, she simply is, and that state of just being is exactly what draws people toward her. In relationships, she does not chase after attention or try to earn love from someone who is not giving it freely. Her presence is the invitation itself, and the right man will recognize that, not because she pushed harder, but because she naturally stands apart from everyone else. Being a woman of real value is not a performance. It is not about being flawless or perfect. It is about alignment, intention, and genuine self-respect. And the most beautiful part of all is that this is not something you are either born with or not. It is a choice. It is a journey. It grows with you. And in what follows, you will see exactly how that choice shows up in the way you speak. Because the way you talk to a man reveals how you see yourself. And when you treat yourself as someone of real worth, he will see you the same way without you ever having to say a word about it. Let us get honest for a moment. The way many women talk to men, especially early in a connection or during emotional moments, actually works against the very closeness they want to build. And the hardest part is that most of these patterns come from a good place. They come from caring. One of the biggest things that quietly damages connection is over-explaining or talking too much. This usually comes from a deep fear of being misunderstood or a strong need to feel completely seen by someone. But what happens instead is this. Rather than drawing him in, it overwhelms him. Men process emotions differently. When you talk at him instead of with him, especially when anxious energy is underneath your words, he may begin to shut down, not because he does not care, but because he feels emotionally flooded and does not know how to handle it. Sometimes less truly is more. Another pattern that pushes connection away is trying to manage how he responds emotionally. When you share how you feel but then attach conditions like you should feel this way, or if you really cared you would do that, you are creating pressure instead of closeness. Speaking from a place of real worth is about expressing your truth honestly, not about steering his reaction. Then there is passive aggression or quiet emotional testing through comments like "I guess you are just too busy for me" or "whatever, do whatever you want." These words might come from real hurt, but they only push him further from you. They do not create closeness. They trigger defensiveness and silence. A woman who knows her worth does not test loyalty through sarcasm. She speaks openly, calmly, and directly, even when she is feeling hurt inside. Another pattern is oversharing too soon. Real vulnerability is powerful and beautiful, but only when it is earned over time. Pouring out your entire life story, your deepest pain, or all your relationship history at the very beginning does not create depth. It overwhelms the other person. True emotional intimacy should grow mutually and steadily, not rush forward one-sided. Let him earn the right to know the most tender parts of you. Many women also fall into a kind of performance mode, laughing more than they genuinely feel like, pretending they are fine with things that actually bother them deeply, or acting like they have no needs at all just to seem easy to be around. Over time, this only builds quiet resentment. A woman of real value does not perform for approval. She stands in her truth and trusts that the right person will appreciate her for exactly who she is. And one of the most overlooked patterns of all is speaking from fear instead of from confidence. Fear that he will leave, fear that you are not enough, fear that showing your standards will scare him off. That fear leaks into your words, your tone, your timing. And honestly, nothing makes a quality man pull back faster than a woman who cannot see her own worth. The good news is that every single one of these patterns can change. Communication is not about being perfect. It is about being present, aware, and rooted in your own value. When you shift from fear to confidence, from reacting to calmly expressing yourself, everything around you begins to change. Now here is the part most people skip over, and it is the game changer. The way men experience attraction goes so much deeper than appearance. Yes, physical beauty might open a door, but it is emotional energy that makes a man want to stay. On a deeper level, men are most drawn to how a woman makes them feel about themselves when they are around her. And this is not about empty flattery or inflating his ego with compliments. It is about emotional safety, genuine curiosity, and a quiet kind of inspiration. When a man is around a woman who truly knows her worth, he feels something rare. She does not need him to complete her, but she invites him into a space that feels exciting, calm, and completely real at the same time. That combination of warmth and self-assurance sparks something in him, a natural drive to pursue, to protect, and to connect on a deeper level. Men are drawn to women who show softness without chaos, who can share feelings without attacking, and who can receive love and care without making constant demands. Another enormous part of attraction is mystery, and not in a game-playing way, in the sense that a woman of real worth does not reveal absolutely everything all at once. She allows the bond to unfold step by step, leaving room for genuine curiosity and discovery. She is not overly available every second. She is not constantly seeking reassurance. That steady self-respect makes a man feel like he is slowly discovering her, not consuming her. Men are also deeply sensitive to tone and the unspoken signals a woman gives. The way she speaks, how she holds herself, the quality of her eye contact. These things send subconscious messages that either open the door to real intimacy or quietly close it. Speaking from a place of feminine strength is not about being louder, sweeter, or more agreeable. It is not about softening everything or shrinking yourself. It is about staying grounded in your own truth, owning your emotions fully, and expressing yourself with a calm certainty that shifts the entire energy of a conversation. When you speak from this place, you are not trying to dominate. You are not trying to convince him, correct him, or control how things go. You are simply sharing what is true for you from a steady, centered space, rather than from a place of emotional chaos. And here is the key that changes everything. This kind of strength is not reactive, it is responsive. It listens first, it feels before it speaks. One of the simplest and most powerful shifts you can make is moving from blame-based language to ownership language. Instead of saying you never make time for me, which immediately puts him on the defensive, you could say I feel distant from you when we do not have real quality time together. That small change invites closeness instead of creating conflict. It shows emotional maturity. It shows that you own your feelings rather than throwing them at him. This kind of communication also shows up in how you hold space in a conversation. You do not rush to fill every silence. You do not interrupt out of nervousness. You allow pauses. You let your words land. You create an atmosphere that quietly says, I trust myself and I do not need to force this. That kind of space gives a man permission to step forward, to speak more openly, to engage more fully. Your vocal tone matters more than most people realize. Warm, steady, and clear lands so differently than sharp or overly dramatic. You are speaking to connect, not to perform. And emotions are not weakness, they are your strength. But the power is in how you choose to share them. Words carry more influence than most people ever stop to notice. They are emotional signals. And when you use the right ones with a man, you are not just having a conversation. You are building something at a deep level, the kind of emotional bond where real intimacy begins to take root. That is not about tricks. It is about choosing language that opens hearts instead of building walls between them. Emotional bonding happens when a man feels truly seen, emotionally safe, and genuinely significant when he is around you. That happens through words that affirm, reflect, and invite rather than words that criticize, compete, or try to control. Something as simple and quiet as that makes sense can shift an entire moment, because it validates his experience without you needing to agree with everything he says. Feeling understood is one of the most underrated forms of intimacy that exists. Another phrase that opens doors is tell me more. It shows real interest without any trace of interrogation or control. Many men carry emotional guards not because they lack depth, but because they are used to their feelings being dismissed or judged. When you invite him to share without pressure and without judgment, you are telling him that what he feels actually matters to you. Using statements that come from I instead of blame-based language also changes the dynamic instantly. I feel closer to you when we spend time without distractions is a completely different conversation than you never put your phone down. One builds connection, the other builds defensiveness. Men open up when they feel invited, not attacked, and do not underestimate the power of specific genuine affirmations. Things like I love the way your mind works, or I feel genuinely safe around you, or you have a gift for calming things down. These are not just compliments. They are reflections that touch the deepest part of who he is. They make him feel like more than just a partner in a relationship. They activate something in him that is wired for loyalty, care, and deep emotional connection. Here is something most videos never tell you about boundaries. Setting them is not about pushing someone away. It is about protecting your inner peace and preserving your self-respect at the same time. And when a woman who truly knows her worth sets a boundary, she does it with grace, with clarity, and with calm strength. A boundary is not a punishment. It is information. It is saying, here is what helps me feel good, here is what respects my emotional space, and here is what I am and am not able to accept. And when you say it from a place of calm certainty, rather than frustration or fear, it actually invites more respect rather than less. For example, if a man keeps reaching out late at night but makes no real effort to spend quality time with you, a response full of real strength might sound like, I genuinely enjoy connecting with you, but quality time matters more to me than late messages. Let me know when you are ready for something real. No games, no threats, just honest truth, spoken with clarity and calm. Or if he makes a comment that crosses a line, instead of forcing a laugh or snapping back, you could say, I know you did not mean harm, but that comment did not feel right to me. I want us to be able to talk openly, but with real respect for each other. That does not tear him down. It raises the standard of the connection between you. And here is the part that surprises most people. When you set a boundary with softness and clarity, the right man does not leave. He leans in. Because real strength in a woman is something that draws strong men closer. She becomes a safe place for him because she protects her own energy first before giving it to anyone else. Getting a man to open up emotionally can feel impossible sometimes, but the truth is that men want real connection just as much as anyone else. They simply need the right kind of space and the right communication style to feel genuinely safe enough to share what they carry inside. Building that kind of emotional openness begins with safety. Men are often shaped by past experiences to keep their feelings hidden and protected. So when they are met with judgment, pressure, or impatience, they protect themselves further by shutting down. Instead, show through your words and through your presence that it is completely safe to be real around you. No masks needed, no performance required. One of the most powerful ways to build that safety is through real, active listening. That means giving him your full attention without interrupting him, correcting him, or jumping in with solutions the moment he pauses. Sometimes he does not need to be fixed. He just needs to feel heard. When you listen fully and acknowledge even small frustrations as valid, you build trust. And trust is the soil where emotional intimacy actually grows. Pay attention to your tone and your body language as well. A soft voice, warm and genuine eye contact, and steady, calm words create a sense of safety that no amount of perfect wording can replace on its own. Your presence becomes a space where he can exhale and let his guard down. This works so much better than pushing him with direct questions or demanding emotional answers when he is not ready to give them. Share your own feelings first sometimes, but in a way that invites him rather than overwhelming him. When you open up, even just a little, you send an unspoken message that emotional sharing is safe, equal, and even comforting between the two of you. Start small with something honest but easy to share, a feeling from your day, a small worry you had, a moment that stayed with you. This teaches him over time that opening up does not have to feel heavy or risky. Avoid turning those check-in conversations into interrogations. Questions like, why do you never talk about how you feel, or what is wrong with you, only create shame and pressure that shut him down further. A far better approach is to use open invitations. Something like, I would really love to hear what has been on your mind, or whenever you feel ready to share, I am genuinely here. Phrases like these give him control and lower the emotional risk enough for him to step forward. And remember that emotional openness never happens overnight. Patience matters more than most people think. Notice the small steps forward and let them count. Maybe he shares one thought he normally keeps private. Maybe he answers honestly when you ask how he is really doing. Those small moments are meaningful progress. Respect his natural way of connecting as well. Some men open up through words. Others reveal their feelings through actions, small gestures or quiet presence. Do not push him toward a style that feels unnatural to who he is. Appreciate how he chooses to connect and let his effort speak as the care that it is. As we bring this to a close, here is the truth that ties everything together. The way you choose to communicate is one of the most powerful tools you will ever carry with you in life. It is not just about finding the right partner. It is about shaping the kind of relationship you genuinely want and know you deserve. None of this is about playing games, pretending to be someone else, or memorizing a list of lines that are not yours. It is about owning your energy, speaking your truth from a grounded place, and holding standards that protect what you are worth. Your words carry more influence than you may realize right now. They shape the way a man sees you. They shape how he feels about himself when he is near you. They shape how deeply he chooses to invest in building something real with you. When you speak from a place of quiet feminine strength, calm and confident and clear, you naturally draw respect, curiosity, and emotional closeness toward you without having to chase a single thing. And here is the real secret. This is not about being perfect. You do not need to get every single moment right. What matters most is your awareness and your intention. Every conversation is a new chance to practice, to show up with a little more presence, and to strengthen the energy you carry. Growth shows up in the imperfect moments just as much as it does in the polished ones. So begin by noticing your own patterns. Pay attention to where you might be giving away too much too soon, filling silences because they make you uncomfortable, or speaking from fear rather than from genuine confidence. Then start shifting, gently and with patience. Pause before you respond. Use language that comes from your own feelings rather than placing blame. Practice listening with your full presence and nothing held back. Becoming this version of yourself in how you communicate is a process, not a single moment. It takes time. It takes self-compassion, but with every small shift, you move closer to a connection that feels effortless, genuine, and deeply fulfilling. You deserve to be truly seen, fully heard, and completely valued for exactly who you are. And when you speak from that steady, grounded place, the right man will not just be interested in you. He will be all in.